This is News 8 Now, This Morning.
People that are in this community know me as being a dedicated, leader. So I take that responsibility very seriously, and so I'm always monitoring my calls, which is a lot after, like you said, 34 years of carrying a pager with you everywhere.
Our state budget is going to impact our businesses. That's why it's important, and it's important to be tied into the local legislators. They're the ones who are advocating on behalf of businesses or La Crosse area at the state level.
The programs that have been initiated have allowed us to be more creative in thinking about ways to reach out to the rural areas.
Good morning, everyone, and that was your morning eye opener. I'm Dua Esrar.
I'm Derek Sibley.
And it is April 11th, 2023.
Hey,
Happy Tuesday.
And welcome back to the show, Dua.
I'm making a very brief return.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure, Derek, you're very happy about that.
I know. It's so happy to be back with Dua. The team reunites. You see that?
Mm-hmm. We need to come up with a name, the Dua and Derek Show.
Yeah, we got to come up with a fancy name.
Yes,
I think.
we do.
We'll think about it.
We're taking viewer comments for that.
Exactly. So submit it here in the comments, and we'll let you know.
Absolutely.
We'll see which one we want to go with. But yeah.
That weather. It is
beautiful.
gorgeous.
I know.
Gorgeous.
And we got highs in the 80s today. It's going to feel absolutely marvelous, and get outside and enjoy it. It's basically shirts and t-shirt. What did I say? Shirts and t-shirts.
Shirts and t-shirts.
Shirts, flip-flops, and shorts.
There we go.
You go. That's
there
what
we go.
need. It's a pretty cloudy start though right now. Not a whole lot of sunshine to work with, unfortunately, across the area now, but that will change though. We just have to get through some of those clouds that we're seeing outside right now. Satellite radar showing you all those clouds here currently across the area, as you can see, and it looks like we got temperatures in the 40s and 50s right now. Now there are some exceptions. Sparta right now, the colder spot at 39 degrees. Ladysmith also pretty cold at 38, but the rest of us mainly 40s and 50s. So here's a check on the planner throughout the day. Lots of sunshine, just a mix of sun and clouds. Overall, very warm today. Highs reaching around 81 degrees, coming around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Your allergies are on the medium side for poplar and juniper. All trees, though, are looking high. Same forecast is in store for tomorrow. And these warmer temperatures could bring high tree pollen levels as soon as this week here, too. So just bear that in mind. Of course, for all you allergy sufferers out there, including myself, I know I've been sneezing out there lately as those tree pollen levels begin to bloom, but stay tuned. We'll have a check on that full weather forecast. I'll let you know how long these warmer temperatures exactly will last. Dua?
Thanks, Derek. Looking forward to that warm weather, not those allergies. But let's get to some news this morning. Current weather conditions can cause a recipe for rapidly spreading fires. I spoke with experts that explain why the Coulee region is being considered high risk.
The poem goes, April showers bring May flowers.
Here's a good example of our relative humidity is down.
In most of southern Wisconsin, there are no April showers.
We're looking at near to record temperatures by the time we get towards Wednesday and Thursday.
Just a whole lot of sun.
So when you have very warm temperatures, combination of dry air, these grasses dry out rather quickly.
With dry temperatures, the chances of a fire are high.
It takes a couple of hours for these grasses that are dead to quickly become flammable.
Even the smallest ember can turn into a blaze.
Sometimes it could be just debris or discarded cigarettes or burning materials that are kind of blown out from their original source.
Warm temperatures and dry grass aren't the only culprits you have to watch out for.
With any wind behind it, it's very, very hard to get ahead of it. It's very hard to control it.
That's why the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources says check for burn bans in your area before setting a fire. It's as simple as the name. Burning anything outside is banned.
If it's high, very high or extreme, those are not conditions that you want to be burning in.
As for signs from Mother Nature,
you can kind of tell when that season is winding down because everything starts greening up.
Wait for the grass to get greener. Reporting in La Crosse, Dua Esrar, News 8 Now.
To check if your area is under a burn ban, you can go to Wisconsin DNR's website. We have that link on news8000.com. A developing story. The Buffalo County Sheriff's Office reports a severe traffic accident closed County Road M. The Sheriff's Office posted the information on Facebook. Drivers are urged to avoid the area and use alternate routes. We will provide an update when the Sheriff's Office issues a full release. Also happening in Buffalo County, a flood warning has been issued until 12 p.m. today. According to the Buffalo County Sheriff's Facebook page, drivers are urged to be careful on the roads. Budget talks were the centerpiece of a La Crosse Area Chamber of Commerce Forum meeting on Monday. Area business owners met with Wisconsin legislators. Representatives Billings and Oldenburg said it makes a difference to hear from voters in person. La Crosse Area Chamber of Commerce's CEO Neil Zigerlicki says it's important to make time for conversations like these.
Our state budget is going to impact our businesses. That's why it's important, and it's important to be tied into the local legislators. They're the ones who are advocating on behalf of businesses or La Crosse area at the state level.
Legislators discussed topics from the governor's budget, including shared revenue, personal property taxes, licensure, and educational funding. Separate from budget talks, Representative Oldenburg says he's looking forward to discussing a bill in Madison that he created with the Vernon County Sheriff.
For emergency contact on licenses, so if someone has an accident or something and they run their license plates, it goes back to their license, you can have an emergency contact. A choice. It's actually not, you don't have to do it, but they can put their emergency contact.
It would allow someone applying for a driver's license or vehicle registration to provide the DOT emergency contact information. It has a Senate hearing today. Onalaska Fire Chief Troy Goody is retiring after 34 years with the department. Goody says he's grateful for his team and their accomplishments over the years. After spending the last 3 years of his career as chief, he says he's ending his career on a high note.
People that are in this community know me as being a dedicated, leader. So I take that responsibility very seriously, and so I'm always monitoring my calls, which is a lot after, like you said, 34 years of carrying a pager with you everywhere.
He says 2 of his standout accomplishments were the local high school fire and EMS academy and the town of Onalaska Fire Service agreement. Goody's last day will be May 2nd, and the city of Onalaska will search for a new chief in the coming weeks. When we receive nominations for our monthly top-notch teacher, the nominee is often someone who's built a positive reputation and made connections with students for years. Well, this month's winner is only in his first year as a full-time teacher, but a decade-long path to the classroom has given him the tools and perspective to make a difference.
Oh, that's good. That's what we're going to review today.
30-year-old Kevin Sandstrom teaches math at Logan Middle School, a subject with rigid rules and formulas to follow. But Sandstrom knows his day is about offering more.
I'm here because I care about their well-being. I care about who they become as an adult. I want to see them be successful. I'm also here because I know what it's like to take a much different path.
Sandstrom's path goes back 10 years when a love of sports first opened his eyes to the teaching world.
I found through coaching that, I might be one of those people. I might be pretty good at it. I could make connections with it.
His first taste of a classroom was an after-school program, and the full-time staff saw potential.
They approached me to be like a sub, to be a teacher.
Sandstrom liked the idea, but didn't have the conventional background.
I didn't go to education school. I do not have an education degree. I went to college and failed over and over and over again. And then I found something I was passionate about.
College officials told him getting the conventional degree wouldn't be possible, but his colleagues had the solution.
We are finding other ways to find people who are good at being educators without going through an education school system. But they have to have a bachelor's degree. So I went to UWL. I got a bachelor's degree in a field that I think applies to education very well, and that's interpersonal communication.
Sandstrom completed online work to get a teaching license with the State Department of Public Instruction, and during that time picked up the tools of the trade at Logan.
Starting as a TA, watching a bunch of 6th grade teachers that are currently teaching here and how they ran their classrooms, how they worked with their children, getting that opportunity first really led to, I think, a lot of the success that I do have.
And he's learned just as much over a decade of coaching middle school football, basketball, tennis, and hockey.
Understanding that there are different levels of success, different levels of understanding, the ability to reach every kid, no matter where that level might be.
It's that mindset that motivated one 7th grader's family to nominate him as top-notch teacher.
When I had knee surgery, when I came back, I was missing a lot of work, and he let me come in with him before school and get my work done. Without him, I would have had a failing grade, and I'm pretty sure I finished it with an A.
Sandstrom says no matter what kind of path brings adults to the teaching profession, success is not just knowing a subject or endless formulas. It's the amount of dedication every day that sticks with the kids.
The children see that I was once like them, that I once was a middle schooler, that I once went through not only the successes, but also a lot of the same hardships some of them go through. And I can hopefully give them the tools to navigate that.
Kevin Sandstrom, a top-notch teacher.
Sandstrom says the teachers and administration at Logan Middle School have inspired him, and getting this recognition isn't possible without their help and support. Well, still ahead on your morning news, why you as consumers are starting to feel credit is getting more difficult to access. We've got that story and smart tips on how you can take your tax refund and make that count towards something more. We've got all of that coming up this morning, but for now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. For almost 4 decades, the Knudsen family has owned a restaurant in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it's put together a special meal on Easter. It's for those down on their luck or needing a little company on the holiday. A herd of volunteers and 3 generations of Knudsens prepared and served meatballs and pizza. This year marked the 38th time the Knudsens have hosted a free Easter meal, and they say they plan to keep that tradition going. Well, don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning is after the break.
Well, it sure is a pretty cloudy start here this morning across much of the area, as you can see here with those clouds moving in from the north. Partly cloudy skies for the morning hour walking conditions, and then lots of sunshine here this afternoon. A few clouds could last into the evening, but overall pretty quiet conditions here as you head out the door this morning. Let's get checked now on your zone forecast. High temperatures into the upper 70s, low 80s across much of the area today, with a high of about 80 in West Salem. 76 today in Viroqua, high of 79 at Stoddard this afternoon. High temperatures reach 79 in Black River Falls as well. 78 in Osseo, 78 as well in Sparta, 80 today in Trempealeau. Highs into the upper 70s across the Chippewa Valley here this afternoon. Bus stop forecast this morning heading out the door. We will be looking at least some partly cloudy conditions. Temperatures at around 57 degrees. And on the way home, temperatures really begin to warm up. In fact, we'll be looking at highs or temperatures rather around 77 degrees this afternoon. Under those, mostly sunny weather conditions here to work with by this afternoon. Now we'll talk more about this coming up in the full weather forecast in just a few minutes, and I'll let you know how long this warmer air will be lasting. Plus, we'll time out our next cool down later this week as well.
In your consumer news this morning, U.S. consumers are starting to feel credit is getting more difficult to access. That's according to a new survey from the Federal Reserve. The survey began in 2013. Consumers' year-ahead inflation expectations also increased for the first time since October. However, long-term inflation expectations decreased when looking at 3- and 5-year horizons. Well, your family's favorite iconic storageware could soon be history. Tupperware is struggling. The company says it's looking for financing because it doesn't have enough cash to fund its operations. Tupperware is also exploring potential layoffs and reviewing its real estate. Stocks plunged 40% in pre-market trading Monday. The 77-year-old business has struggled to stay relevant and attract younger customers. Well, chances are you got a tax refund this year, but how are you planning to spend that extra cash? Are you spending it wisely, bulking up your savings, or getting out of debt? In today's consumer news, Patrick Cornell has 5 smart ways to stretch those dollars, according to one money coach.
This year's tax refund is about 11% smaller than last year's, but at nearly $3,000, it's a prime opportunity to make some smart money moves.
Using it in ways that you can leverage certain smart aspects of your finances to really catapult yourself in 2023 and beyond.
Money coach Lynette Calfani-Cox has these 5 tips to spend your 2023 tax refund wisely. Number 1, create or boost your emergency savings fund, and then don't touch it.
We know from study after study that the average American doesn't even have $500 socked away to deal with an emergency.
Number 2, tackle high interest debt. Either pay off all debt or get on a plan to make some major progress this year. This goes for credit cards, personal loans, or any outstanding debt with a high interest rate.
It'll improve your cash flow because by knocking out some debts, by either eliminating them or by reducing them, you're going to be paying out less every single month to banks, to credit unions, etc.
Number 3, purchase a life insurance policy. Consider a policy that covers about 5 to 10 times your annual salary. Number 4, show your retirement account some love. Increase the percentage you're contributing to a workplace retirement account or contribute to a traditional Roth IRA if you meet eligibility requirements. And finally, invest in yourself. Set aside some of that refund cash for a gym membership, a home gym, dental work, or a new wardrobe.
Other people might want to take on training or specialized courses or to get a certification or to join a mastermind group or to increase their skill set.
I like the tip that says invest in your wardrobe. I fully approve that message. Well, here's one more tip. Use that refund money to start a college fund or consider mutual funds, which gives you a broad investing diversification. And that's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek and get today's forecast and whether or not it's raining dollar bills. Derek?
Man, that'd be really cool if it actually rained dollar bills, right? I think a lot of us would be rich around here, but unfortunately, we're just not seeing that here across the area. And in fact, there is no precipitation really in the forecast over the coming days. 57 degrees is the current temperature right now in La Crosse. Visibility looking crystal clear at 10 miles. East-southeast winds at around 9 miles an hour. Here's a look at those conditions in Eau Claire. You can see it's much colder here. Temperatures are at 45 degrees. Looking at southwest winds at 3 and visibility at around 10 miles here as well. So we are looking at those cloudy skies that continue to move in from the north. Current temperature readings are into the 40s and 50s mainly. There is some exceptions like Sparta right now at 39 degrees and Eau Claire, as we saw, 45. Viroqua down to 51. Winona's currently at 55 degrees here. Partly cloudy skies at 55 degrees, 71, and plenty of sunshine by noon today. A few clouds by around 4 o'clock. Temperatures at 80 and a few clouds this evening as well. Temperatures dropping down to about the low 70s. Our forecast highs today mainly into the upper 70s to low 80s. In fact, I expect La Crosse today to hit a high of 81 degrees this afternoon. So just a few clouds here lasting into this morning. Notice how we will get that southwesterly wind flow motion here. That's going to help warm up the temperatures into the 70s and 80s, even though we may see a few clouds around here that could last into the early evening hours. Now, as we head into tonight, I do expect mainly clear skies, temperatures dropping in the 50s and 60s there. We're going to start off tomorrow morning into the 50s and 60s as well, thanks to that southwesterly wind helping to keep us warm. Clear skies will last as we head into early tomorrow afternoon and throughout the most part tomorrow here as well. Looking at mainly sunny skies, temperatures warming up into the low 80s. Now, there are some changes here on the way because we do expect a bit of a pattern shift here in our temperatures, and that is because we're looking at some cooler air moving in from the north as we're watching our next storm system that's brewing to the west. But as of right now, we got plenty of warm air to enjoy thanks to a southerly wind breeze that we got going on here across the area. But you notice the system here developing to our west. That is going to change things because it is going to move that warm air out of the way, and it will be bringing us some cooler and wetter conditions to work with as we head into the weekend. So you'll notice it here, especially on the 8-day forecast, as high temperatures will go from the 70s and 80s here this work week to the 50s and 60s here this weekend with good chances of rain showers there. Now early next week, Monday and Tuesday, we're going to dry out, partly cloudy skies on Monday, followed by mostly sunny skies on Tuesday, but our highs will drop again into the 50s mainly here across the area. So stay tuned. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. We're taking a quick break with a look what happened on this day in history for April 11th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz. The spring sports season is in full swing. We finally got the weather for it. Mid-70s, perfect conditions for some action on the diamond. And we'll start with two MVC rivals going at it in lacrosse. Conference foes going head-to-head on the diamond. Aquinas hosting Holman, and the Blue Golds get on the board first. This pitch goes to the backstop. Heads up base running by Calvin Hargrove. He beats the tag. Aquinas goes up 1-0. And Tanner Peterson on the bump, keeping the Vikings in check. Gets out of a jam in the second, then gets back-to-back Ks to get out of the third. Peterson cruising. Blue Golds still clinging to a one-run lead until the bottom of the third. Cole Keppel at the dish. I thought it was gone. I lost it in the sun. Didn't leave the ballpark, but it does some damage. Both runs are going to come in a score on Keppel's two-run double. Blue Golds extend their lead to 3. They get the shutout win over Holman 7-0 in a combined no-hitter for Aquinas. 4 pitchers getting it done for the Blue Golds. Over to the softball circle now. The Holman Vikings traveling to Galesville to take on GET. Early on, Vikings get on the board. Here comes Macy Klein to score the first run of the game. It's 1-0 Vikings. Later in the first, Gabby Powell gets the job done. Here comes Izzy Jar to make it 2-0 Holman. Then later on, it's Evelyn Vetch joining the party. That's going to bring home 2. Klein and Jar both score to make it 4-0. Vikings keep their foot on the gas all evening. They get the shutout win over GET, 10-0 the final. Let's go to the pros now. Minnesota opening up a 3-game set at home against the White Sox. 4th inning, game tied at 1 until Hanser Alberto crushes a 3-run shot to left. It's 4-1 Chicago. Same inning. Here come the Twins. Runners on the corners for Trevor Larnach. He lines it up the middle for a base hit. Matt Wallner comes in to score. 8th RBI for Larnach. Makes it a 2-run game. Then in the 5th, Minnesota catching a break. Wallner is going to scorch this one to first. Gavin Sheets can't come up with it. That's going to be trouble. It skirts all the way down the right field line. Nick Gordon on his horse. He races in from first. Twins cut the deficit to 1, but that's as close as they'd get as the White Sox hang on and take the first of this 3-game set, 4-3. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
President Biden will make a historic visit to Northern Ireland today. His trip will help mark the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, which brought peace to Northern Ireland after decades of violence. The president is set to meet with the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and speak at Ulster University of Belfast during the trip. President Biden often talks about his Irish heritage. Tennessee Representative Justin Jones has been reinstated after a vote from the Nashville Metro Council. Jones and Representative Justin Pearson were expelled just 4 days ago for supporting gun reform protesters that marched through the Capitol. Jones will temporarily be reappointed. Representative Pearson could also be reappointed Wednesday by a commission in the county he represents. According to Representative Jones, last week's events shows that Tennessee is ready for a change.
Last Thursday, members of this body tried to crucify democracy, but today we stand as a witness of a resurrection of a movement of a multiracial democracy that no unjust decision will stand. There comes a time where time itself is ready for a change, and that time has come back here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Special elections to fill Jones and Pearson's seats will take place in the coming months. Both Jones and Pearson plan to run in the special election. Plaintiffs in a medical abortion case have until tonight to respond to requests for a hold on an order that would suspend FDA approval of an abortion drug. If no action is taken, mifepristone, the medication in question, could become unavailable nationwide by the end of the week. Dozens of officials from biotech and pharmaceutical companies signed an open letter backing the FDA's right to, quote, regulate safe, effective medicines for every American. Iowa's Attorney General is pausing funding for emergency contraception like Plan B and in some cases abortion for sexual assault victims. Iowa Attorney General Brianna Byrd says she is reviewing whether this is an appropriate use of public funds. Until her review is complete, the state will be delaying payments of any claims that would assist victims of sexual assault. Since 1979, victims of rape have not been responsible for paying for exams or medications due to the assault. Some popular candies and snacks are being put under the microscope. Lawmakers are concerned about chemicals added to foods that could be dangerous to your health. CBS News' Dania Bacchus explains.
Hendrix, do you want strawberries?
Ashley and Jermaine Rawlings are careful about what they feed their 2 young children. They read food labels closely.
I'm vetoing every product that comes in here just because I'm always curious, like, what's in this product.
If you can't pronounce the name, you probably shouldn't be eating it.
California could become the first state in the nation to ban the sale, manufacture, or distribution of foods containing 5 chemicals linked to cancer risk, reproductive harm, and behavioral issues in children.
These are the worst of the worst.
Assemblymember Jesse Gabriel is a sponsor of AB 418, which would prohibit the use of red dye number 3, titanium dioxide used in many candies, potassium bromate used in some breads, bromated vegetable oil, and propylparaben.
When I learned that 99% of these chemicals are not being independently reviewed by the FDA, that was my aha moment.
Dana Hunez is a senior clinical dietitian at UCLA and says the number of additives in our food supply is concerning.
The more we consume of a certain product, the more likely it is that we're going to have some of these negative effects in our body.
Thousands of chemicals are added to processed foods to provide freshness, taste, and color. Red dye number 3 has already been banned in cosmetics in the U.S. The food industry is pushing back. Nearly a dozen associations responded, saying the federal government has a comprehensive food safety process, and the 5 chemicals have been thoroughly reviewed and continue to be deemed safe.
Did you eat the first one?
For the Rawlings family,
it's crazy that I have to look at every single product to even see what's going into my child's body, what's going into my body.
They hope products with less additives adds up to better health.
California lawmakers hope their legislation passes, and if it does, they hope that it'll spark changes nationwide. Well, as Milwaukee prepares to host next summer's Republican National Convention, city officials are calling for extra funding from Washington. Both the city and members of Congress say there are multiple reasons Milwaukee should get more federal dollars ahead of the RNC. Milwaukee Congresswoman Morris says the funding will cover police staffing hours, communications equipment, and security devices, planning for a convention where crowds could get out of control, especially one that includes former President Donald Trump.
The former president will most likely be in town, and we certainly hope for his protection and protection of everybody who convenes in Milwaukee.
While Milwaukee is in Moore's district, all 8 of Wisconsin's U.S. House Representatives signed the letter calling for the 2024 host cities to get their security funds boosted to $75 million. Governor Tony Evers sat down with nursing students in Eau Claire to chat about his new budget. Students and Evers discussed how he will be using over $200 million to address Wisconsin's healthcare industry issues, with the focus on the healthcare workforce shortage. Nursing students shared that having fewer workers makes it hard for rural communities. UW Eau Claire's Dean of College of Nursing and Health Sciences says Evers' investment will help underserved rural populations.
The programs that have been initiated have allowed us to be more creative in thinking about ways to reach out to the rural areas.
Over $50 million of the total $200 million that Evers is investing will go directly to addressing workforce shortages. We have more details on how at news8000.com. And as of Monday, patients and staff don't have to wear a face mask in most patient areas on Mayo Clinic Health System campuses. Mayo Clinic will continue to require one in high-risk patient areas. Mayo Clinic says it's adjusting the policy due to consistently low COVID hospitalization, mortality, and community spread levels at most locations. The clinic says people can wear a mask if they choose to. Well, a new major is coming to UW-Madison this fall. It's in an area of study for a community that is growing in Wisconsin. Catherine Merrick shares the story on how the UW system is breaking barriers.
Latina students, Latinx students come here and are able to engage in those academic debates, those academic conversations about what it is Latinidad is in this country.
For the first time at UW-Madison and in the UW system, a Chicana, Chicano, and Latina, Latino Studies bachelor's degree will be offered.
We're so excited.
The department says they've seen nothing but growth for the past 30 years in this program.
Our introductory to Chicano and Latino Studies course is always full.
The courses are currently offered at the certificate level, which went from about 50 students in 2014 to nearly 200 this year, a nearly 300% increase.
The folks that take our classes are, they're multi-ethnic multiracial, multilingual.
This same growth is happening with these communities in the state, and this major will prepare students to help elevate them.
The Latinx population in general is booming in Wisconsin and across the country, right? So this is preparing undergraduate students to be able to enter into a profession of service within the public sector or in the private sector, and to be able to work directly with this population.
This professor says this is just the beginning of an advanced way of bringing more culture to the classroom.
It's been 30 years in the making, but we're here, and we're rooted.
Offer students not just an education, but a sense of validation on campus, and potentially raise other cultures and heritage studies from certificate programs to bachelor degrees.
Well, there is still a pretty cloudy start here this morning across much of the area here, with temperatures mainly into the 40s and 50s. But I do want to go ahead and start off and show you what's happening now with our satellite picture. And you can see plenty of clouds moving in from the northwest. So for today, 81 degrees, partly cloudy conditions, very warm here for this time of the year. Southwest winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. For tonight, still slightly on the mild side with temperatures at 58 degrees, mostly clear skies, and south-southwest winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. So for your zone forecast today, a lot of locations will be around that 80-degree mark here today, including Holmen. You'll be at 80 as well. 76 in Viroqua, 79 today in Stoddard, 81 in La Crescent. High temperatures will reach 79 in Melrose, 79 as well in Whitehall, and highs in Eau Claire today looking at 78. In Pepin County, you're looking at 80 today in Durant. So let's get checked now on your DriveCast, because the morning here will be partly cloudy, but as we head into your lunch hour today, it will be very sunny and a few clouds here lasting into the evening commute hours as well. I'll have a final check coming up in the full weather forecast after the break in just a few minutes. But also coming up in our Buzz Report, Netflix's newest rom-com takes a trip to Vietnam. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, we're still watching a few clouds out there this morning, as you can see behind me from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse. Current conditions in La Crosse are at 57 degrees. Visibility looking crystal clear, though, at 10 miles. Light east-southeast winds at around 9 miles an hour. Meanwhile, the conditions to the north in Eau Claire are much cooler at 45 degrees. Visibility still looking good, though, at 10 miles here as well. Southwest winds very light at around 3 miles an hour. You can see all the clouds here that continue to move in from the northwest across the Coulee region this morning, with current temperature readings mainly in the 40s and 50s, although there is an exception right now in Sparta. You're currently the cold spot at 39 degrees there on the map. 50 degrees currently in Viroqua. Meanwhile, in Winona, you're currently at 55 degrees. So here's what's going to look like here today. 71 degrees, plenty of sun here by around noon today. 80 degrees under partly cloudy skies around 4, and then by this evening, just a few clouds, partly cloudy. 72 degrees being the temperature here early this evening, with forecast highs during the afternoon hours today into the upper 70s to low 80s, and that's at least about 15 to 20 degrees or so above average for this time of the year. So we'll time things out on SkyTracker, and you can see by 10 o'clock I do expect the majority, if not all, the clouds here to be long gone by that point. Notice the temperatures quickly warming up into the upper 70s thanks to that southwest wind motion that we'll have today, and a few clouds here this afternoon, followed by a few clouds here as we head into this evening as well. We will be looking at some clearing skies, though, overnight tonight, with temperatures dropping into the 50s and 60s, and we'll start off that way into tomorrow morning as well, with temperatures around the 50s and 60s with plenty of clear skies. Heading into tomorrow afternoon around the noon hour, we are looking at that southwest wind warming up those temperatures quite a bit, at least into the mid 70s, with plenty of sunshine to go around here tomorrow afternoon. And you notice that temperatures will be warming up into those low 80s yet again. However, that being said, we are expecting some changes in our temperatures, though, so don't get quite used to this warm air that we're seeing here this week, because in about 6 to 10 days, we're looking at some much cooler air moving in across the area starting this weekend, as a matter of fact. So enjoy this warm air while we got it, thanks to that southerly wind breeze that we have. But notice what's brewing here to the west. It's a broad trough of low pressure that's going to give us some cooler and wetter conditions to work with here for Saturday and Sunday, especially on Sunday, at least for those temperatures dropping down quite a bit. And you'll notice that here on the 8-day forecast, as highs will be mainly into the 70s and 80s through Friday. And then once that system arrives for this weekend, we're talking highs around 60 with a chance of rain on Saturday. Still chances of rain for Sunday, with highs dropping to about 52 there. And then highs early next week will start off mainly into the 50s as well.
Well, in our morning buzz report, people are talking about Starbucks' new olive oil infused drink, and it's not all good. Customers are complaining that the coffee giant's Oleato is making them run to the bathroom. Starbucks hoped customers would love the health benefits of extra virgin olive oil, but may have not considered how the body would react to that combination of the oil and coffee. A barista on the Starbucks Reddit page posted that her team tried the drink and a few needed to use the restroom, if you know what I mean.
You're so cool. And with my star, we're gonna rule.
The Super Mario Brothers movie turned the popular video game franchise into a blockbuster film, and now it has a viral music video. Jack Black pours Bowser's heart out in Peaches, a love ballad for Bowser's unrequited crush, Princess Peach. The music video has more than 6 million views on YouTube in just a few days. The movie's soundtrack is available now on digital, and a special vinyl 7-inch single is due out later this year.
You need to get out of town. We are sending you to Vietnam.
An unexpected breakup sends travel executive Amanda to Vietnam in the Netflix rom-com A Tourist's Guide to Love. With help from a charismatic guide, Amanda finds her way around Vietnam and embraces new love. A Tourist's Guide to Love streams April 27th.
Peter. Captain, it's Peter Pan.
Wendy Darling and Peter Pan traveled to the magical world of Neverland in the newest film adaptation of Peter Pan and Wendy. On the way there, the entourage encounters evil pirate Captain Hook, who turns their journey into a thrilling and dangerous adventure. Peter Pan and Wendy streams April 28th on Disney+. Now, if you were here for the first hour of our show...
You're going to embarrass me again?
Yes, I am, Derek,
of course.
because viewers need to know. Derek here had no idea what a rom-com was.
So that just goes to show you how strong my entertainment skills are, right? When it comes...
I feel like, Derek, this
rom-com
just
stands for
shows...
romantic comedy.
I feel like this just shows you're kind of old.
Shows I'm kind of old, but I'm only 28
old,
though. Come on now.
28 going on 90.
Wow. Wow, what a jump.
Yeah.
Where's the time go?
I don't
Clearly,
know.
I live under a rock, y'all.
We'll help Derek pick out his favorite rom-com eventually. Well, before we head to break, it's time for today's Look Who's 8.
All right, I want to start off with Evelyn today. She's turning 8 months. Evelyn loves her dogs, car rides, and of course, bath time.
Happy 8 months to Lola. Lola loves to eat. I totally agree.
Yep.
Learning and how to crawl and miss Rachel.
Happy 8th birthday to Ingrid. Ingrid loves skating, riding her bike, and spending time with her friends.
Happy 8th birthday to Quinn. Quinn is caring, funny, and loves to play sports.
Happy 80th birthday to Patty. Patty loves watching old classic country shows, listening to Loretta Lynn, and watching the birds.
Happy 88th birthday to Bob. Bob enjoys spending time with his family, playing cards, and visiting his friends.
Well, if you know a special someone that's turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
And we may just have to feature Derek, too.
Oh,
For
really?
that,
Is it
for
my
that
birthday?
88, for that 88 segment specifically.
Well, you know, how about next month we can do Look Who's 8 for me? That's my birthday.
All right, we'll keep that in mind. Well, just upload anyone's photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab. And stay with us. We have everything you need to know today. In 5 minutes or less, your morning news now is up next. Governor Tony Evers sat down with nursing students in Eau Claire to chat about his new budget. Students and Evers discussed how he will be using over $200 million to address Wisconsin's healthcare industry issues, with a focus on the healthcare workforce shortage. Nursing students shared that having fewer workers makes it hard for rural communities. Evers' investment will help underserved rural populations.
The programs that have been initiated have allowed us to be more creative in thinking about ways to reach out to the rural areas.
Over $50 million of the total $200 million that Evers is investing will go directly to addressing workforce shortages. We have more details on how at news8000.com. And as of Monday, patients and staff don't have to wear a mask in most patient areas on Mayo Clinic Health System campuses. The clinic will continue to require one in high-risk patient areas. Mayo Clinic says it's adjusting the policy due to consistently low COVID hospitalization, mortality, and community spread levels at most of its locations. The clinic says people can wear a mask if they choose to. Onalaska Fire Chief Troy Goody is retiring after 34 years with the department. Goody says he's grateful for his team and their accomplishments over the years. After spending the last 3 years of his career as chief, he says he's ending his career on a high note.
People that are in this community know me as being a dedicated, leader. So I take that responsibility very seriously, and so I'm always monitoring my calls, which is a lot after, like you said, 34 years of carrying a pager with you everywhere.
Goody says 2 of his standout accomplishments were the local high school fire and EMS academy and the Town of Onalaska Fire Service Agreement. Goody's last day will be May 2nd, and the city of Onalaska will search for a new chief in the coming weeks.
As you head out the door this morning, we're looking at temperatures in the 40s and 50s under partly cloudy skies. Lots of sunshine, though, really throughout the day. A mix of sun and clouds, if anything. Highs into the upper 70s to low 80s, and tomorrow looks very similar. Mostly sunny, high of about 84 degrees. Low 80s on Thursday with sunshine, and then the 70s here for Friday. We will be talking about a chance of rain and some cooler temperatures, though, here this weekend, thanks to our next storm system moving through. Highs in the 50s here for early next week as well.
I am loving this change of pace, Derek, I have to say.
Yeah, I love the 70s and 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for April, because we usually don't see that in April.
I was going to say, it also feels almost kind of sudden, we had that bit of a cold plunge almost, and then all of a sudden it was like 60, 70, 80.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, it's definitely t-shirt weather.
I don't think anybody's complaining. In fact, yesterday I saw so many people out there in the shirts and t-shirt working out and stuff like that. I'm expecting a lot of that today.
Yes. Yeah. And I gotta say, the colder temperatures later in the week, it's a nice little switch up. You don't want that consistently,
Right.
Plus we need that rain because of kind of that dry season we're facing.
Exactly, sure do.
Any fun plans?
Fun plans. Well, I'm gonna go out for a nice walk, maybe by Riverside Park.
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, take some pictures too.
Oh, yeah. So, well, thank you for watching News 8 Now this morning. Don't forget to keep up with news of the day and check out that beautiful skyline.